Alright guys, so we're going to move on with our water for living. So we've looked so far at how plants reduce water loss and maximize their uptake. So now we're going to look at how animals reduce their water loss. And this again is particularly important in Australia given how dry a climate we actually live in. So what's the point? The whole point of this is you want to be able to describe the ways in which terrestrial organisms can reduce their water loss. And over here we have what is currently Australia's cutest animal, the quokka. Alright, so terrestrial means living on land. These are the things we need to remember. Every organism requires water to survive. It's one of those things that everywhere we find water, we find life. Australia is a largely dry continent, so we've got to have there's a variety of ways in which animals can reduce their water loss, and that's really, really important. And these are all adaptations. Now, adaptations can be either structural, physiological, or behavioral. All right. So let's look at excretion adaptations. Now, basically, your body needs to remove nitrogenous waste. Now, this is a byproduct from our metabolism, which is the chemistry inside the cell, and it's usually these NH2 groups. So, you can do it the fish style, which is very easy when you have lots of water, and that is you excrete ammonia directly into the water. So ammonia is NH3 here. So you excrete ammonia directly into the water. It's actually highly basic and super dangerous for us, so we don't do that. Mammals, well, basically, urea, which is this chemical here, is what mammals, amphibians, and sharks, and some of the other fishes tend to give off. It's diluted with water, so it doesn't damage the cells along the excretory pathway, and it's excreted into the environment. Now, what's actually really interesting about that is that while being diluted with water, it still can cause damage. So if you're diluting it with water, though, that means you're going to lose a lot of water. So we can reduce it with this one by producing a really concentrated urine. Kangaroos do this. You'll notice that your body does it if you don't drink enough water or enough liquid in general. Now, birds and reptiles, they tend to reduce the water carried or lost by excreting uric acid. You can see here that it's a much more complicated molecule. Okay, again, you don't need to be able to. You need to be able to draw this one, but you don't need to be able to draw that. So it's much more you need to know the name. It's a much more complicated molecule, much more complex. So it puts a lot of effort into making it. But while doing this, if you're a bird, you don't have to carry much water, which is really important when you're trying to fly. Or if you're a reptile, you don't lose a lot of water. Now, uric acid is excreted as a thick paste. So it's not as dangerous to cells and results in the organism not losing much water. However, if you get it in a car, it will rip your car apart. It'll rip the paint apart in your car. So over time, it does have a strong effect, but it gets in and out of the body pretty quickly. All right. Then we have the behavioral adaptations. So water loss. So we can basically avoid or reduce water loss by reducing the amount of time we spend in the hottest part of the day. There are several ways of doing this. You've got the wombat way, which is to burrow into a hole during the day. So you burrow in the soil. Frogs will do this as well. You can lie in the shade, or you can go the koala way, which is to have largely nocturnal behavior. And that's us today. So thanks for paying attention, and we'll see you in class.